not only for next year but the years to come. I mean, he's playing at such a high level that he always has. This year was a special year. It didn't finish like we wanted to finish, but I think everybody's purely motivated to get back. And I think, like I said, I don't think there's anything that we have to do. He's our quarterback and he's our leader.
Absolutely, he will be here for a long time. I know I said that before, but for a long time.
Max Kellerman, do you believe Aaron Rodgers' time with the Packers will end poorly?
Yeah, I do. I think when it comes down to it, it'll be acrimonious when they split because the Packers have a succession plan in place. And like was the case with Brett Favre, who still had gas in the tank, but they had this phenom, Aaron Rodgers, who was sitting there holding the clipboard for a couple years and was clearly ready to go. He was younger, cheaper, and as it turns out, even better, which is hard to do. And eventually Favre, goes to a divisional rival. Does that mean everything is just fine? Now, famously, Favre and Rodgers, the relationship could have been better early on especially. And maybe that was Rodgers' attitude, maybe it was Favre's, but there was some kind of alienating of Rodgers, it seems, especially in retrospect, when you hear and read stuff about what was going on at the time, maybe his attitude, he came on too strong, too cocky, whatever it was. Rodgers isn't seeming to do that with Jordan Love. Rodgers was not happy and made it known he wasn't happy. They drafted his replacement instead of getting him help. But he seems to have, he said he was going to be helpful to Jordan Love, and so far it seems that has been the case. But that doesn't mean that when it comes down to it, eventually, when Rodgers, his horizons seem limited and Jordan Love is ready to go, if they move on from Rodgers, I don't expect that to be great, especially since Rodgers has to be sitting here now feeling, damn, they wasted a whole bunch of my prime, hoping every year I would somehow overcome the shortcomings of the coach and the rest of the roster. And oftentimes he did. He could win double digits. He could win a playoff game or two, but really not make a serious Super Bowl run. So now finally they have this in place where it looks like they can make serious Super Bowl runs. And if he wins one, I'm sure he'll feel a lot better. But how, when it comes time to move on for Rodgers, is he not going to have that in mind? I don't anticipate a happy split.
Well, once upon a time, I would have agreed with you until I saw Aaron Rodgers backpedal like the late Michael Jackson or Fred Astaire, God rest their souls. I mean, when I saw that backpedaling, anything's possible in terms of being an amicable split or whatever. I just look at it from this perspective. I'm so disgusted looking at Gutekunst and looking at Matt LaFleur and them talk about Aaron Rodgers in such glowing fashion. So we have a guy that's about to be named league MVP who threw 48 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions, who hasn't thrown in double digits in interceptions in the last several years, who's one of the elite, if not the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in the history of football this side of Patrick Mahomes, who's still balling out. And with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left, down 8, at the goal line, at the 8-yard line, you take the ball out of his hands to hand it to Tom Brady, knowing that Tom Brady didn't need a single point. He didn't need a field goal. He didn't need a touchdown. All Tom Brady needed was 2 first downs. Maybe, because you had 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning if you were Green Bay. All you needed from Tom Brady was 2 first downs, and the game was sealed. And you took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, knowing that was the alternative, knowing that was the predicament. I think it's an unforgivable sin by the head coach of the Green Bay Packers in terms of football. I'll never forget it. As long as I'm on the air. Unless Matt LaFleur comes out and wins a Super Bowl title, I will never, ever, ever on these airwaves let him live that decision down. It's that egregious to me. And so Gutekunst is going to come up in there because the guaranteed portion of Aaron Rodgers' contract has expired. There's no longer any guaranteed money. He spread out that $57 million signing bonus or whatever it was. And so he's scheduled to get paid $25.5 million next season, $25.5 million the year after. And that's where he is. So Aaron Rodgers, they'll probably throw more money his way and secure him in Green Bay, monetarily speaking. But does that mean that you're giving him the respect that he deserves? The man has already made over $200 million in his career, Swagoo. Money hasn't been the issue in the National Football League. You got to spend the money anyway. Money hasn't been the issue. The point is the respect and deference that somebody of his caliber deserves. When you have someone that great and you don't prioritize taking care of them outside of the money, to me, that is the crime. And for Aaron Rodgers to not speak up and speak out about that says to me that it is entirely possible that things won't, quote unquote, end badly, because he'll go along to get along to remain in Green Bay. And I find that to be sad, because I think it's far more than the Green Bay Packers deserve.
Number one, I think it'll end fine. It'll end in business. It'll either end with him retiring or it'll end with a business. That's how everybody careers end. Tom Brady's career ended because of business in New England. Obviously, he had other suitors. I'm sure if Aaron Rodgers is free in a couple of years and Green Bay decides to move on, he'll have more suitors now that we have quarterbacks playing into this tender. But I'm telling you right now, man, like last segment, it was Max. Stephen A., I'm so sick of people like you talking about Aaron Rodgers and what's been done to him. Aaron Rodgers been in the NFC Championship back-to-back years with the Green Bay Packers. And we don't want to acknowledge that the front office did something right. We don't want to say that the Green Bay Packers brass has done something the right way to end up in the NFC Championship. You on this damn show all year telling me about how bad Dallas Cowboys are, and they ain't been to the playoffs, and they ain't going to do this. And now we supposed to feel sorry because Stephen A. says that the Green Bay Packers ain't took care of Aaron Rodgers. Is it possible? I just want to ask on First Take, is it possible that Aaron Rodgers didn't hold up his end of the bargain in the game?
No.
Is it possible that you should take away some of the credit from him like you do other quarterbacks?
No.
I heard you say Patrick Mahomes has all of these requisite weapons around him, so we shouldn't talk about Patrick Mahomes being all this great. Like, that example is horrible too. But you gonna sit up here and say that I give you some other years, but these last 2 years, they've been good enough to be in the NFC Championship. And they also, let me go to football, since you want to talk about taking it out of his hands and something they'll never forgive him for. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions. You know how many points Green Bay got off of that? 6. Mm-hmm. Is that Matt LaFleur?
Well,
is that not going for it on fourth down?
Do I get to respond? Do I get to respond?
Go ahead and respond.
Ain't nobody scared of what you're saying. Ain't nobody running from you. Ain't nobody running from you. I got something to say
about the bad man.
Do I get to respond?
To the fact that he didn't get it done.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. That's right. Listen, first of all, you ain't scared nobody. Huff and puff all you want to. Give a damn what you say. Just like you don't give a damn what everybody else say, or you tired of what everybody say. I'm tired of what you got to say. I'm gonna be watching you on NFL Live, spewing the same nonsense. Here's the deal. Did you see Devontae Adams fail to keep his feet in bounds? I saw it. Did you see on the end of the end zone when he sat up there and Aaron Rodgers threw it to the left side and he couldn't keep it, and he didn't turn around and catch it on the back end? Did you miss that? Did you see the drop passes that took place? I saw Aaron Rodgers balling throughout that game. It wasn't on him. Now, if you want to talk about the previous year, Matt LaFleur's first year there, I got that. I understand that. But this year, he's about to be crowned MVP. He showed up in an NFC Championship game. Oh, by the way, they 26 and 6 in the 2 years Matt LaFleur is there. That ain't got practically everything to do with Aaron Rodgers. I beg to differ. And all I'm saying to you is this. Of course, you got to run it back. Aaron Jones can run the football. Devontae Adams can catch. Marvin Valdez-Scantling can play. I get all of that.
Number
Aaron
one offensive line in the league.
Straw that stirs that cup, Mr. Cowboy. I don't even know why you even try to make this argument with me, with your cowboy self.
What
so you can sit up there and talk about
ignores, Marcus.
Be quiet, Max. Hold on for a second. I'm getting a swagger and I'll come to you in a second.
What you ignore.
The bottom line is this. You're sitting there talking all of that. But I ask you a simple question. How egregious was it that you take the ball out of his hands to give it to Tom Brady when all Tom Brady needs is a damn first down or 2 to seal a deal? How egregious is that decision, Marcus?
I'm not arguing with you about that decision.
That's what I'm talking about.
But it was 3 plays before that.
It matters. It matters. Then he got 4.
Yeah,
it matters.
Hold on. What you are ignoring, Stephen A., ignoring is not only what Marcus said about the 6 points off of 3 turnovers. But the fact is, at the end of the first half, Aaron Rodgers in the red zone is 3 and out. 0 for 3 trying to link up with Devontae Adams. He didn't drag his feet in the end zone, everything. They weren't all perfect passes, and they had to kick a field goal. They then had to chase those points all game. They didn't convert on a 2-point conversion. They wound up losing by those 5 points. By the 4 points between the touchdown and the field goal and the missed 2-point conversion. Hold up. That's the 5 they lost for. They lost by. Now, we all agree it was a bad decision by LaFleur to not let Rodgers go for it. But listen carefully to what LaFleur said. He said, we just got 0 yards on 3 downs. Before that, we just got 0 yards on 3 downs. And Aaron Rodgers had daylight and chose not to run. That's his decision, Stephen A. Don't put that all on the floor.
Aaron Rodgers specifically stated that in hindsight, we all know that he should have ran the ball for some yards the previous play. He was looking, but he had the mentality, we've got 4 downs. I'm looking at my receiver. I didn't even see the daylight because I'm looking at my receiver here, and I fling the football there, didn't get there. But his whole mentality is, I got 4 downs. In other words, never in his wildest dreams did he believe that the ball would get out of his hands. And correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus, didn't you hear Aaron Rodgers say, and did you and Dan Orlovsky not speak on NFL Live when y'all were appalled by Matt LaFleur saying, I needed to do a better job of communicating because he didn't realize 100%. That I wasn't going to go for it on 4th down.
100%. 100%. But that still doesn't absolve Aaron Rodgers from not doing what he is expected to do. Stephen A., if this was any other superstar that didn't get it done, you would kill him. But
no, that's not true.
Boy, that's not true. You want to buy into
that's not true. That's not true. If I saw receivers dropping passes, Marcus, if I saw receivers dropping passes, if I saw running backs fumbling the football, Marcus, I would have let Dak Prescott off the hook. Yes, I would have.
Godwin dropped the pass.
If Mike McCarthy had taken the ball out of Dak Prescott's hand to give it to Tom Brady, I'd have called him out too. If Tomlin had taken it out of Big Ben Roethlisberger's hand to give it to Tom Brady, I'd have called him out too. Yes, I would have.
I'm not going to sit on the show and allow people to say that the Green Bay Packers don't have players outside of Aaron Rodgers. It's not true. It's not. It's false.
I didn't say that.
And we can say that Aaron Rodgers didn't deliver because we hold every other superstar.
Marcus, take a breath. Stephen A., take a breath. The segment's over. We got to stop talking. I'm going to end it with this. Aaron Rodgers is the first quarterback since 1970
oh, please,
to lose